buy one. Now, if you're trying to save some money on this recording slash streaming PC, you could go for a Core i3 CPU, which are significantly less than the Core i7s. You could also go with a platter hard drive, a very cheap, couple hundred gig platter hard drive for $50, and save yourself some more money in that department. You could definitely shave off a few $100 from the setup I'm building. After the CD-ROM and hard drive are secure in the case, you can then connect the power cables and the serial ATA cables. Make sure that none of the cables are resting on top of the CPU heatsink, and if possible, depending on your case, try and set them up so that they're not really obstructing airflow. The better airflow in your case, the more cool your components will stay. Next, you want to install the Live Gamer HD capture card. You simply just plug it into one of the PCI slots there and screw the screw on. It doesn't require any sort of external, or rather internal power source cord plugged into the back of it. It's not like a GPU. It's very simple. So once you have that fastened in there, you're pretty much done with the build. And finally, you reattach the outside cover of the case, put in the screws, and then you're ready to plug it into a monitor, get your keyboard and mouse set up, plugged in, and install Windows on the main hard drive. This is a pretty easy procedure. You basically just plug in your Windows, install CD to the CD-ROM drive. You can also do this via USB stick if you know how to set that up. This is possibly one of the easiest computer builds I've ever done, and I think that if you're going to do a computer build for the first time, this wouldn't be a bad way to start, just because you don't have to plug in the motherboard to the case or the power supply and worry about all that stuff. It was a very easy build. While recording it and doing the procedures, it still only took me about an hour to put together the whole computer, and I wasn't really rushing it. I tested the machine for streaming yesterday, and it worked like a charm. It makes hardly any sound at all, and you can use it on high compression settings in XSplit to get an excellent picture quality without taking up all your internet bandwidth. So if you're at all serious about streaming and or recording gameplay without having a performance hiccup, I recommend building a secondary recording and streaming PC. This computer will not tax your frame rate at all while streaming or recording. It's absolutely the best way to go if you can afford it. Again, all the components I used to build the computer are going to be linked in the video description if you're at all curious about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.
Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today we're going to be taking a look at my command center, as I call it, the room where all my computer equipment is, where I do all my recording, all my editing, all my uploading. Now, I live in a small 2-bedroom apartment, so I've got to figure out a way to fit a lot of computer gear into a small room. I think this room is something like 13 by 14 square feet, so it's pretty small. This desk over here is my wife's desk, and I've actually hooked her up with some pretty cool gear. The monitors there are both 1080p, and they're hooked up on a really cool monitor arm made by Ergotron. I absolutely love Ergotron products. I use their monitor arms for all my computer setups. She's got standard keyboard, mouse, nice Roccat mousepad, and actually built this computer for her down here, which is getting replaced actually by my old gaming computer right here, which has actually got a solid state, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. So she's got a nice computer set up here, got some nice headphones too, and it gets pretty hot in here. So as we move along here, you'll notice I got a little AC unit hooked up to the window there, because it gets super toasty with all the PCs in here that are, if they're running at one time. Now this here is my editing PC. You'll notice it's got 3 monitors. Again, I'm using Ergotron monitor arms, and I've been using Ergotron monitor arms for like 10 years. And I just got some new ones, and they've made a lot of cool improvements to them. I've got a Audio Technica 2020 recording mic up there. I think that's Audio Technica. Yeah, there we go. Audio Technica. Got the pop filter, a nice little mic arm, which I can use to move the microphone out of the way if I want. So yeah, I got 3 monitors all hooked up to this computer here. It allows me to edit, allows me to do file management on one monitor, then I can do YouTube on another monitor, which is cool. Got a standard Microsoft keyboard here. This is an old Alienware mouse that I just kind of threw on there because it's an editing PC, it doesn't matter too much. Got an Xbox 360 controller, which is actually a cool custom Battlefield one. And I actually am going to be using that for spectator mode, because using a controller for recording spectator mode actually looks a lot better. Now, as we move down here, you'll notice I've got that's a 4 terabyte drive that I've been using at recording events. I've got a mix amp there from Astro. Not actually using Astro headsets. This is the AD700 headsets, which are really great for gaming. And then the actual box down here is I built this box on my own, and I'm quite proud of it. In fact, I'm kind of jealous of it, as my gaming PC has a quad core. This one has a hexa-core, which I use for just rendering as fast as possible. It's got 32 gigs of RAM, Windows 7 Professional, and it's actually got SLI 670s in there. So not only can this one edit, but I can actually have somebody else record spectator mode while I'm gaming on this PC over here. So it's a really cool setup to have. Now, moving along to the gaming PC, this up here is a mixer, and this is a really nice mixer. I use it for setting up stuff if I'm going to be doing streaming or just changing the audio channels however I want. This is very powerful. It allows me to jack into pretty much any kind of hardware that's available. Now, the arm that we have down here is again an Ergotron arm, and I've got a laptop basically seat on there, so it allows me to put my mixer on there and I can move it around and get it out of the way if I want. Basically, it just doesn't take up any desk space. So down below I've got another Xbox 360 controller, I've got my Gunner gaming glasses, and you guys can make fun all you want, but if you're gaming for hours and hours every day, it's a great way to try and reduce potential headaches that you might get from monitor glare, that sort of thing. This is, I forgot what brand keyboard this is, but it's a 10 keyless keyboard using Cherry MX, there we go, Leopold. It's using Cherry MX red keys, and I used to use that for gaming. It's really nice, but I found that the keys were almost too sensitive, and I would accidentally do stuff like throw grenades when I didn't mean to. Here we've got this is Mionix. This is their ambidextrous mouse. I did a review on this. It's a really nice mouse, and I use that for my second computer, which I have 2 computers set up on this desk here. So let me wake this one up, and you'll actually see I'm setting up my monitors for Battlefield 4. So the top screen there, this is where we're going to show battle screens. So my map overlay, all that, it's going to be right above my main gaming monitor here. This is the Philips 144 Hertz gaming monitor. And I'll be playing BF4 on this one and looking up here to look at my battle screen. So I think that's a pretty legit setup. My microphone is actually an older Blue Yeti, which I like. I don't think it's as good for recording, but for actually doing in-game audio and live streaming stuff, it's really good for that. And it allows me to use a headset, which is this guy right here, which is my AD700X, my, again, Audio Technica one. I think this is the best gaming headphones you can get. The problem is they don't come with a microphone built in, so that's why I have this one sitting here, so I can just game and talk to that mic. I don't even have to turn my head. It picks me up just fine. Now on the desk itself, you'll notice that I actually have 2 mice here. I don't recommend using 2 mice. You don't need 2 mice, but I'm actually still debating which one I want to use in the long run for Battlefield 4. I've been using the Razer Death Adder 2013 for a long time. It's been a really good mouse. Like it a lot. I love Razer drivers. And I just recently started using the Roccat Cone Pure. This is also a laser mouse. And I gotta say, the grip on this one is just great. So I've been using that one a lot, and I might switch over to Roccat for BF4. I'm still debating. Not sure. Using my Razer, this is the Black Widow Tournament Stealth Edition. I think it uses like MX brand keys or something like that. But I love these short keyboards because I can put my mouse and keyboard right next to each other when I play. I don't have to have as much arm distance apart, and I can just have generally a more ergonomic setup when working. Now, looking down here, my secondary computer is this guy up here. This can also be a streaming PC. So the top monitor, I can switch it over to streaming mode if I want, which is really nice. It's got a 3770 in there. And then this has also got a 4770 in here. This is my Origin PC that Origin made for me, and it's just a beast. I love this thing a lot. You'll notice here I'm actually using the Rig mixer that comes with the Rig headsets. I actually like those headphones a lot, and I really like their mixer, and I'm using that currently. And so down below you can actually see it's got the light up GeForce GTX 780s in there, and it's got the liquid cooling system, Corsair case, all that stuff. So this thing is just a beast. It's got 16 gigs of RAM, which is more than enough for gaming. And so, yeah, this is pretty much where everything gets done. Oh yeah, everybody always wants to know about these little things here. And these are made by, what are they called? ErgoRest. You can get those on Amazon. I've linked them multiple times before because everybody's just like, what the heck are these things? And basically it allows me to, I'll show you this one over here. I can just put my forearm in here, move it up to the keyboard, and then I can move it around like this. And basically I have a nice rest for my forearm that's always at the appropriate level, and I never have to worry about like chafing or anything like that if I'm moving my arms around. So I think these are honestly some of the coolest additions you can get for a gaming PC. It just always keeps your hands in the nice appropriate positions, and it's very comfortable. I know I got a ton of wires here, and part of that's because it's a small room and it's very hard to move things around and get really neat and organized. Behind this is all Legos. Everybody always wonders about that, and I'm a pretty big Lego fan, and unfortunately I've kind of gotten out of it recently because I don't have enough space to mess around and build stuff. I used to actually run a Lego store online, which was a lot of fun, and you'll kind of see over here I still have more Legos, and one day I will be able to upgrade to hopefully a bigger area, so it's not just a tiny cramped little 2-bedroom apartment. Now, something that a lot of people also ask me about is my gaming desks. Now, that's something that I think is a pretty important subject for anybody who's hardcore into PC gaming, even console gaming. If you want to use a nice monitor, a nice high refresh rate monitor that's maybe a 24-inch monitor, you want to be pretty close to it, so a desk environment is probably your ideal setup. Now, finding the right desk can be a little bit tricky, and this one here is actually an Ergotron desk, and you'll see here it's got one central pivot point, and if I pull this lever here, I can actually collapse it into a sitting desk, so it changes its height. Now, I do most of my work standing up. I do all my gaming standing up. I do a lot of my editing standing up. If I get a little tired, then I'll sit down and edit. But same with this desk here. If I just go ahead and pull this lever, then I can convert that to a sitting desk. And I would do it, but it requires two hands to kind of lower the desk down, and I'm holding the camera with one. But you guys get the idea. These are some really nice desks. They're a little bit pricey, but I've kind of shopped around and looked at the market and what other desks that convert from sitting to standing desks, and some of them are either a lot more expensive than these ones or just really crummy in quality. So I think this is probably one of the best options you can get desk-wise. So all in all, I've been able to fit a lot of gear into this small room here. My major complaint is that it gets very hot, and again, that's what the air conditioning unit is for. But I can't run that while I'm recording commentary. So if I'm ever recording voiceover stuff or recording in-game play and it's a hot summer day, sometimes it gets crazy hot in here. And that's just something that I'm hopefully will be able to remedy if we ever upgrade to a bigger apartment or a house at some point in the future. I can have like an AC system that isn't crazy loud, some sort of central air thing. But anyway, this is it. This is the command center. This is where it all goes on. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll put links to any of this hardware, any of the important hardware gear that you're curious about in the video description. I'll see you guys next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.
Hey guys, Level Cap here, and today I'm going to be doing my 100,000 subscriber vlog, and as promised, here next to me is my lovely wife, Natalie. and my name is Charlie, in case you guys didn't figure it out, because I know some of you guys are detectives, and on my 50,000 subscriber vlog, you guys freaking hunted that name down in a matter of minutes. Now, if you want to, there's a lot of questions that you guys asked that were actually answered in my first vlog, and that's going to be linked in the video description. So if you guys want to know more about my life story growing up, all that stuff, you can just click that link, watch the first 50K vlog, and but for today, the vlog, we're going to go over some questions that you guys asked. And Natalie's going to ask me some questions about me, and then I'm going to ask her some questions about herself that you guys all provided. So enjoy.
How many hours a day do you play Battlefield 3, and how many days a week?
Well, I will say I spend more time editing and uploading and doing all the back-end work for YouTube than I do actually playing the game. So on average, I'd say it ranges from 2 to 3 hours a day of playtime. I know a lot of people out there who watch YouTubers play, they just think, oh, they just play video games all day, spend like 30 minutes editing and uploading. It's definitely, that's not the case. It's most of the time spent editing, rendering, uploading. So if I'm lucky, I can get 2 to 3 hours a day in. So, I mean, factoring that in for like 6 to 7 days a week, 2 to 3 hours a day, comes out to maybe around 20 hours.
What would your dream job be besides YouTube?
That's easy. I'd definitely be a game designer. I've actually tried to go down that path before. If you guys watch my channel from the early years, I had my iPhone advertisements in the outro for my videos. But I made iPhone games, and I would love to work on like a big AAA title, be the actual game designer, calling the shots, making the big design decisions and stuff like that. But I'm pretty happy where I am right now. I mean, I get to play the games and just complain about when they're not designed perfectly, so it's not a bad deal.
So everyone seems to think that we are loaded and that you make a ton of money on YouTube, and so people are curious as to what our income is actually like, and am I the breadwinner?
You're not the breadwinner, honey?
I'm a student. That means I'm dirt poor.
One
I don't bring in
day,
anything.
one day when you get your PhD,
When I cure a disease. Someday when I cure a disease and become super famous, which is totally going to happen, then we'll be loaded.
Yeah,
I will be the
I'm
breadwinner.
kind of relying on that, to be honest.
Oh,
So
good,
if you can make
good.
that happen, that'd be great, honey.
No pressure. No.
Yeah. Now, I can't really talk about how much I make. It's part of my contract with Machinima. But I can tell you, if you work really hard at it, it can turn into a decent job. I'm not making more than I ever have in my life. You know, I've had an official job working for a big company before, and I've made better wages there. But I will say YouTube is catching up quite fast, so it could potentially be the highest paying job I've ever had. And I get to be my own boss, so there's no really beating that, and you get to play video games. So it's a pretty good deal, I will say that.
How do you spend your free time?
Free time.
That's that thing you do when you're not playing video
Oh, when
games.
I'm not in front of the computer?
Sometimes when you eat food, sometimes we eat,
Mhm.
sometimes sleep.
Yeah, occasionally I'll go out and see where I'm trying to make a video about something specific where the gameplay isn't that entertaining, and in those situations I'm not necessarily enjoying the game. But whenever I'm playing tactically or playing with friends or just having a fun time playing with the guns I like to play with and doing tactics and stuff that I like, then Battlefield 3 is still great. I'm not really jaded with it at this point. I'm looking forward to PlanetSide 2, so that's down the road, and I think my channel could use one other game to diversify things a little bit. So with the inclusion of PlanetSide and all the new expansions coming out with Battlefield, I'm going to be pretty happy with still playing the games that I've got on my channel.
So quite a few people wanted to know how Mr. Level Cap proposed to Mrs. Level Cap.
How I proposed?
How you proposed.
They just assume
They
that I proposed.
Yeah.
Well, that was not actually the case. Mrs. Level Cap sort of broke the question, and it was an extremely romantic occasion that she had set up.
Oh yes, fantastical, very romantic.
You wanna tell the story?
Yeah. So we were sitting in the office, both working on some stuff, and I had
Candles.
There were candles on. we were sitting in the office working, and I had just gotten rejected from grad school the first year that I applied, so I had a free summer, and I turned to him and I said, I have some free time. You want to get married? And he said, oh.
I was smitten.
When
taken
were you
aback.
thinking? Taken aback is a very good way to put it, yes.
So, yeah, it was, we just decided to get married. We were in love, both in love. We'd been together. How long had we been together before we decided to get married?
About a year, I think.
About a year.
A little over a year.
Yeah. We knew we were right for each
When
other.
you know, you know. We were engaged for 4 months, and then we had a beautiful small wedding. It was just
We
perfect.
made it happen.
Yeah, there was no bridezilla involved. Very low key, very accessible, and oh god.
It was nice.
You
Okay.
ready for the epic question?
Oh, I'm ready.
When life gets you down. When or if you feel like your friends are deserting you. You feel empty and you question your future. The world's future and the future of time. When you look up into the stars at night and contemplate your existence. When you think about your purpose on this planet and ask yourself, is there a bigger picture? Beyond the borders of our galaxy, is there something looking back like a child with a microscope to an anthill, waiting for our self-obliteration? What keeps you cool?
Video games, I guess. And my wife, of course.
Me, I keep him chill.
My wife keeps me cool.
Yeah.
Alright, now I got some questions for you. Got quite a few questions. You're not allowed to read at a time.
Okay.
Can't read them.
Okay.
Okay, first question. How is it to be married to a YouTuber?
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
Everything you always wanted in life?
You're everything I always wanted in life.
Oh.
I don't know really how to answer that. I mean, we're both workaholics. Our schedules work together real well. We're both really passionate about what we do, and we're really respectful of what each other does and our working habits, and it works really well for us.
So basically she's just saying awesome.
It's awesome to be married to a famous YouTuber. That question is distinct.
Are you proud of what Level Cap does for a living?
Yeah, I am. I'm proud that he's able to go out there and find this incredibly unique niche in the world of entrepreneurship and kind of make it work for him. And it's very, very fortunate for anyone to be able to do what they love for a living. I'm fortunate to be in the same position, and I think it's fantastic that he's been able to make his living this way.
Doesn't hurt that I'm so good at poning news either. That's mostly where the pride comes from.
Yeah.
How is graduate school going? I remember Level Cap mentioning something about you moving to LA to attend graduate school and perhaps a PhD. I'm interested into how far along you are, what you're studying, and if it's a PhD, which area of focus your dissertation will be on.
Wow. Goodness, I have followers.
Stalkers.
Graduate school's going fine. I just finished up my first year, which was hell. You can attest to that. Absolutely miserable.
Sucks.
Hardest, most stressful thing I've ever done
me.
in my life. It was bad for him, poor thing. He was a trooper. But it's going well now. I'm past the hard stuff and actually doing what I love instead of trying to jump through the hoops. I'm studying neurobiology and I have a focus on neurodegenerative disease. So that's
She's really
pretty
smart.
much as specific as I think I can get at this
It's the
point.
brain, for those of you who don't know.
Yes,
That's what I tell people. She studies the brain. Is Level Cap as smooth in real life as he is with a keyboard?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, you heard it from her. It's totally unbiased opinion, by the way. Do you enjoy it when Level uses his heavy barrel, or do you prefer a foregrip on it?
What does that mean?
What is a striking characteristic of Level Cap that his viewers probably don't know about him? Wow.
What am I allowed?
Thanks.
What am I allowed to reveal? To
Wow. Okay, we're not going there.
for Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition.